All right, welcome to Trendy Options. It is June 11th, 2018. What a wonderful day we had today, right? We got into some positions, we got out of some positions, and things went really well for us. I think to recap, one thing to take into consideration is that we were in these positions going into today. That's what makes it so awesome, right? So it wasn't too much stress on us. We already had these positions, and we're able to calmly get out of these with targets. Now, one thing I will say, hindsight, right, is that I exited some of these positions entirely too quick. But, that's the name of the game, right? It's being able to be patient and hold out for those. And I will go over those really quick in our little recap of today for June 11th again. And so what I want to do is send you guys a video every night. We'll quickly go over our blueprints into the futures, and then also just go over some positions that we got into and out of, and just kind of retrace those, and also look at some stuff that we're currently in and maybe something on the watch list. Let's get started here with the ES. Now, what I will tell you with these futures, they're going to be really quick and to the point, okay? A little bit of stuff going on right now in Singapore with the POTUS meeting Kim Jong-un. I'm not sure I said that right, but you know who that is. And so we pretty much closed pretty flat on the day. I think the ES was maybe up like 2.5, 3 points by the close. Okay, so what we're looking at here, this pink line here is a line in the sand. We talked about this morning. I was bullish if we could hold above here. Didn't think we'd actually come all the way up here, touch my target, and then come back down and close almost the same spot. But that's just how the story goes. So saying that, we're still going to have basically the same targets in place. All right, that's what makes this easy. So 1, 2, on the third attempt, we should be able to break through here. T1 coming up at 2797, T2 at 2811, and T3 at 2841. To the downside, would expect T1 or a bounce here around 2773 to 2772, T2 coming in at 2761. T3 back to 61.8, bearish below this, 2746. Let's go over here and look at the NQ. Same thing, line in the sand is your pink line here. Target's going to remain the same. Came into our yellow resistance line here, pulled back, basically touched our target here, and pulled back into the zone here. So again, upside T1, 7216, T2, 7259, and T3, 7298. To the downside, we're looking at T1, 7144, T2 at 7100. I'm going to leave it at that for targets. Let's go to the YM over here. Came right up into almost the same thing, guys, almost into our zone. Twice it's tried to get up here. It did create a higher high once we did that, and you can see that here on this candle. I'm comparing it to this candle. So on a third attempt, I do expect to get into T1 here at 25460 and T2 at 25546. To the downside, I'd expect a bounce here at the 61.8. Basically, you could see all these pivots, we are creating higher lows. Okay, so higher lows, higher highs within a range from January, and working on these targets to the upside. To the downside, I would expect price to come into here and bounce at the 25,235 level. T2 coming in at 25,123 and T3 at 25,033. Going over here to the RTY, same thing, pretty flat on the day for all these guys. So targets are going to remain the same. I will tell you just by looking at this, we got a little bit of support down here at 1676. T1 coming in at 1669, T2 at 1662. To the upside, we're looking at 1686.9, T2 at 1709. All right, so let's quickly go over some of the positions we got in today and got out of today. Some that ring a bell in my head would be, let's see here. Let's go at Google. All right. And what we were looking for here when we got in the position on Friday was that move up into 1144, and boy, did we get it, didn't we? So now if we come to a little bit smaller time frame, you can see here, basically we got out of the position, I believe, pretty early in the morning. It's probably on the peak of this candle. Price came back, thought I was a superstar, and then, the market has a way of keeping you in check, and then went up quite nicely here And I think the first one we sold for 550, sold the second one for break even, so not much of a profit from there, a couple $100. Um, but overall, this thing went pretty darn high. So, I'll tell you, even on this pullback, it's hard to justify staying in the trade once it came back to here for me. And so that's the reason I got out of there. Now, I will tell you, Google still has some room to run. What I wanted to see is that price could hold 1144. There's a lot of news, a lot of different things coming out of as far as news catalysts this week. And we got some econ data that's coming up as well from the feds. So a lot of things could push the market. I think it's safe right now to say that I want to be pretty heavy on cash. And then when opportunities present themselves, we will pounce. Okay, let's go quickly over here to CMG. Oh, what a beauty. And we picked this up on Friday too, guys. So what I'll tell you is, I haven't changed these zones. The target here was 470.86, came up to 470. You can't get any closer than that. However, I exited. What I will tell you is on the premium side, I thought I would get a lot more bang for my buck in this position. And I believe we sold on this candle, and I actually sent the pictures out, and I correlated those with the time that we actually sold. But we sold here, and you would think from here to here, price wouldn't go up that much, but it made a huge difference because I sold the position, and it nearly tripled or doubled by the time it got up to here. Okay, so that gamma increase, therefore the popularity of buying that thing increased, and then premium just kind of skyrocketed there. So for myself, got out a little early, but still made profit, so I'm happy. All right, so there's that trade. We'll wait to see if it wants to pull back. If it does, I'd expect maybe 50% of this pullback from today and be looking to get long there. You guys understand how much I like the 23.6. If it can stay in this channel, it's a bullish channel. If it pulls down, I expect price to come into the 50 with a stop below the 61.8 and then go further long into 88.7 of 470, which would probably put you around 466. Okay, that's just a quick guess. But that's what I'd be looking at, and then a second attempt into 477 here. All right, so quickly let's move on here. FedEx, what a wonderful trade that was as well. Sold at the top here pretty much, and what I ended up doing is right around this area where it came into a little zone is I went ahead and bought the 285s. Basically what I'm thinking here is, and I did put on there, that's a little bit higher risk going into earnings, but I bought, I believe, 42 days of expiration here, and I believe the analysts are pricing in about a $12 move. Now, what we do know is long term, we're looking for a target of around 269, 270. Now, if we can make it up to there before earnings, which is next week, I believe it's around Thursday or so. Don't quote me on that. But if we can close there, my thought process in that is we've already made profits with these FDX, and one thing I'm looking at is to capture that. So if they beat earnings, right? Let's go over here to the daily. Is that let's say that we can close at 270. They're looking for a $12 move. Standard deviation for this guy, and that would put us, roughly around 282 with several days of expiration left, and we picked those up pretty cheap there. Okay. So that's the thought behind it. Now, disclaimer, this thing could go down another $10 before the actual earnings, and then all bets are off the table. However, as a disclaimer, this is a play into earnings, but not necessarily playing the week of the earnings, which is even more riskier, okay? All right, coming over here, let's go ahead and take care of some other things we're looking at. Just want to go down my list. So we jumped into Roku, right? Did really well in Roku. What a trade this thing was. Sometimes you just know when they're about to take off, right? I don't know. I think technicals are really important. So it's not a sense. It's we're just technical trading here, and it gave us the technicality to take this trade, and we did that and did just as we planned. Broke up into this target here. I was looking for a T1. I was being a little exuberant, right? But the position did very well. Bought 4 contracts, got rid of a couple of them first thing in the morning, and didn't quite make it to T1 yet, but this is the overall target here at 43.86. What I will say is really happy as well that this target here that we had was resistance, and it still closed above that. So I'm really happy about seeing that. If we do get a pullback back into this red line here or just above there, I will look to add a position in here, and we did roll. Okay, so we did roll to June 29th, $43 call. And you know, if we get an opportunity to get those even cheaper, then we'll go ahead and add to that position. And talking about adding to positions, what I'm looking at is trying for myself anywhere from $800 to $1,000 position, core position. So if you see it come through, say 1 or 2 contracts and only $300 or $400 has been spent, what I'm looking for is if I get that opportunity and everything still sets in place, that we will add to that position, coming to full position size around $800 to $1,000, maybe sometimes more, just depending on you know, how bullish I am on that. And saying that, some people have asked, hey John, can you go ahead and give us like a rating on your choices? So if I send out an alert, hey, you know, is this a 1? So maybe a 1 means a very strong buy. 2, indecisive. I wouldn't say indecisive. 2 is slightly strong, and 3 being maybe this is more of a risk on position. And so I'm looking at grading those. I want to come up with something with a little bit more meaning behind it, and maybe do a little bit of back testing before I tell you something. But what I will tell you is when we get into a position on a weekly and a day, so say we get in on a position on the weekly and day, it's probably going to be stronger. And if we're trading something maybe on the 4-hour, we're looking at like a number 2. And then if I'm trading something on an intraday, say 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, it's going to be more risk on. Okay, and that would fall under number 3. Still trying to decide though. People might think more or less like a 3 is the strongest, 2 being medium, and 1 not so good. So I want to see what the consensus is here, okay, before we go more into that. So anyways, that's a little bit about positions and also Roku. Let's go over here to the SPX. All right, we talked about the ES, but let's just look at the SPX chart. All right, look at where we're at. We're at the 61.8 of the overall high here in January, and then we had our pivot low here in February. And we continue to create higher lows and higher highs within the range. And what we do know is that we came up in here on the 76.4. Man, I am getting super pumped and excited because I understand the probabilities of hitting 88.7. At the end of the day, I just want to see the 88.7 hit. All right, so that comes in at 28.37. We went ahead and opened up a SPX position for the 28.30s. So we're trying to capture that and maybe get a $7 move above and beyond that 28.30 and capture that premium on there. Obviously, the faster the better. So maybe some good news comes out and we shoot up there in the next day or two, and these things will skyrocket. All right, so that pretty much, let me just look over these really quick. Oh, let's go ahead and go over NVIDIA. Okay. So what I want to see here, by the way, on SPX, I want to see that we can hold the 61.8. I don't want to see us come all the way back down and test 27.45. Matter of fact, this green line here, this was my all basically like going back on FedEx and so forth. I want to see price stay above this, kind of like Roku. So I'm really happy to see that we closed at 27.82 here, because 27.78 was my target to stay above for today. Okay, so let's go over here to NVIDIA really fast. I'm going to go to a day. We want the bigger picture. Price came back. It held to 23.6. We talked about this in our weekly video we sent out last night. And as you can see, it actually came back and tested today and pushed up quite high and then came back down and settled right at the 23.6. 23.6 is this overall move that we had here on May 23rd. And then basically this is a bullish channel within here, okay? So I'm really excited to see that we can stay here, right? So again, this is our bullish channel, all this in here, okay? Bullish, right? We want to stay in here, right there. Now, what am I shooting for? I'm shooting for an 88.7 extension into this 266.59. So basically, if we were to, let's say, right about there, okay, and that's going to put us about 264, 265, and we're currently trading at 260. If we can hold this 23.6 tomorrow and actually start to curl around here, that's what I'm interested in seeing, okay? So basically what I want to see there is, let's see. So let's go with a green, right? I want to see moves, maybe a base here, and then a move up here, base, and then a second attempt. And if you notice right here, we have this high. So I need that high to come in about right there. Okay. And then we're looking for T1 into next week, not this week. Okay. We want to be smart with our money. We want to buy time and understand that price can go sideways. And also, sometimes it just wants to take its time. So I could retrace about 50% here. And then we would expect another move up into here to make our next high. And then again, what you can expect here is for price to come back and retest this area here. And then, look, I've been doing this a long time. And then for price to shoot up here to T1. Okay, so this is what we're looking for on that as far as NVIDIA goes. I don't want to see it break here, but if it does, this area right here is basically this red right there. This is where I don't want price to fall under. Okay. All right, let's go over here, see if there's anything else I want to take a look at. If you want, let's go ahead and cover Apple really fast. Okay, same thing here. We actually got into a position today. I love this position because we're able to do it right here in the room. And it was fantastic. It pulled back 88.7%. We took the position right here. We got out exactly right here. We kept one on just in case, the news is spectacular and the market decides to rip and roar up to that 88.7 on the SPX. We're going to be some happy campers. So far in this account right now, I am getting rid of some positions. I think you guys know that. I'm concentrating on increasing position size and overall having, 2 to 3, maybe 4 positions with more value in them per se. So when I opened the room, I already had about 7,000, 7,500 allocated to different positions, and I'm slowly selling those off. And if you notice, if you guys get like an alert that pops by and you're like, what is this? Right? That's probably something that I had in the account that I'm getting rid of. But other than that, we've covered our positions that we've bought in the room. Now this one I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop it up on the screen. This will be my last one for the night, and then I'll leave you guys alone and see you in the morning. We're looking at AMD. We bought the 2019 Januaries. And what we're looking for here on the daily, I went ahead and pushed in the GTC orders here. I don't really want to be concerned about these, but what I'm shooting for is $20 here, long term. Okay, so into next year. And if we can get that, amazing. And if for some reason we come up here and start to turn around, then you might see me take care of these positions and get out of those. Okay, so AMD looks strong though. This blue line, this aqua color here. This is kind of my end all. So if price decides it wants to pull back any deeper than this, then I may lose these long-term positions and just take them out of the account. Again, I need to check the dates on these. I'm not sure if we bought these since inception of the room on June 1st, but I will check into it. But anyways, that's AMD for you. Short term, I am looking for a move up to 1633, and we'll see how she acts there, okay? Anyways, thank you again for hanging out. And again, I want to remind everyone, please go to the website and look at the calendar of events. I said this in the room today. We also, I have leave planned for the year, taking off for about a week and a half at the end of June into just the beginning of July. There's quite a few holidays in there. A lot of the members are actually out doing their summer trips, and I'll be also doing that. But I will be trading, but I won't be trading live. I know that some of the members will still be in the room and doing their thing. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great night, and we'll see you in the morning.